In this session, we are going to talk about infinite looping, right? So infinite loop. Okay, using while. Okay, and when it is an infinite loop, right? So if an infinite loop, let me run the code here. So this is the syntax you all know for an infinite loop. I can put a true and colon. So this is the while statement for infinite loop. Okay, so inside that, inside whatever the block is called the while block. Here the block is having some state. Let's say print like one and print hello. So these are the two statements which is inside the while block. And outside the while block, I have couple of statements before and after. So before while loop, let's have like welcome. And after while loop, let us have program ends here. So in between these two statements, let me enable the line number. Hope the line number is visible for you guys. Okay, so in the line number 1, we have a print statement, and then the next valid statement is in line number 3, which is a while statement having true as a condition. The result of true is obviously true. So if it is true, definitely it goes into the line number 4 and 5. This you all know from the previous class. And now this print statement, which is at the line number 7, which will get executed only after the completion of this while loop. But when the completion of while loop happens, when the while loop aborts, or when the while loop stops, we don't know. Because to look at this code, here the result of the expression, what we supposed to mention here is true. This true always make sure that it goes inside the while loop. Inside the while loop, this statement, the print of 1, okay, the line number 4, the print of 1, it will get 1 printed. And after that, the next valid line is inside the while loop is print hello, which is a string. So this string hello will get printed. Then after that, as per the looping concept for while loop, it goes back to line number 3. There it will check the condition. It will check the result of the condition. The result is already we have hard coded. I have explained you what is meant by hard coded. Anyhow, here it is true. We already mentioned that as true. So since it is true, it goes inside the while loop where it prints again 1, and then it prints again 1. So it will be a never-ending story, right? So what happens? To see this, let me enable the debugger here. I have enabling the debugging here button here actually. So and yeah, so once debugger is enabled, then you come here. I want to enable the checkpoint at this place. So the breakpoint is set at line number 1. So this is the place I have set the breakpoint. Now I am going to run the code. If I run the code, kindly look at here. This is a place which the breakpoint is enabled, and when I start running the code, if I run the code, it stops at here, which means your Python interpreter is yet to execute. I'm repeating, your Python interpreter is yet to execute this line. So this line is print welcome. To execute this line, I have to step in this line. So by clicking this line, I'm just stepping into that line. So which means it's executed welcome. The welcome gets printed. The next line, it goes into while loop. Since while loop is there, which is true, it goes inside the while block. The first line of the while block is print 1. So if I step in, it means if I step in that print 1 is executed, and the print, see the results of the output window here. 1 is printed here, and now it stopped at the line number 5. So now we are again stepping in. So this, right? So this enabling the debugger and running using debugger line by line, we can execute and then see what is happening line by line. Now when I execute the line number 5, it prints hello. After that, you can see where it gets stopped. It gets stopped at line number 4. Right? You see the call stack. In the call stack, the line number 4, the program is at 4. Program 4, the line number 4 is going to be executed now. Now it stopped at line number 5. 5 is going to be executed now. Then again 1. Then again hello. So if I run this program continuously by pressing F9, otherwise by pressing this button, play button, it continues to run the program. It will not stop line by line. It will continue to run the program. If it continues to run the program, it becomes an infinite loop. Whenever you are going to develop anything in an upcoming projects or assignments, if you use infinite loop, it will corrupt your working environment. Okay, the real-time application may have while of true, or may have a kind of infinite loop, like how your smartphones, more number of applications running in the world is having the infinite loop only. But anyhow, when you are developing small snippets or codes, kindly avoid using infinite loop. Okay, so let me run this continuously. See, if I scroll down, it has getting, it is being running actually. See how big the file is actually. So it is getting executed line by line, and you can see that hello one every time. So which is an infinite loop. So let me stop this code. Obviously, you will get an error actually now. Let me interrupt the kernel. So I am stopping the code. It will throw some window like because I have stopped that program in between, right? So still see there is a star symbol here, which means still program is running. So again, I'm forcing the system to stop here. It may hang your system even, or it may hang this application, right? Yeah, you could be able to see this one. So let me exit the page here because of unresponsiveness. Okay, we were struggling to stop it. It was not stopping properly, and now somehow it has stopped after some time, and I even refreshed the page. Okay, so when we are handling this infinite loop, you must actually take care of, you should be very cautious in running infinite loop. Okay, anyhow, so infinite loop is used for different purpose intentionally. Okay, and here what we are going to learn here is, so infinite loop using while, but to break it, to break the while loop, we need to use break keyword. So this is what we are going to see in this session now. Okay, let us put this break here. The same code, if I put a break here, okay, and let me again run with a debugger and see what is happening. I am executing the code and I am running the code. It stopped at breakpoint. Since I have kept the breakpoint at line number 1, it stopped there itself. You could see that breakpoint is 1. The current call stack is line number 1. And if I step in, line number 1 executed, and welcome is printed here. If I again step in, it goes inside the while loop because while is having true here. So it goes inside the while loop, which we have seen in the before execution. And now it is going to print 1. So it prints 1. And it is line number 5. When I execute, it prints hello. And now it is at line number 6. And when I execute line number 6, which is a break keyword, if I execute that, it will come out of while loop. It will not go back to line number 4. Kindly look at here. It will not go back to line number 4. Instead, this highlighted brown color will come to line number 8. And if I step in, your current line of execution is line number 8. It is yet to be executed and still it is not yet executed. And see here, your current execution is at line number 8. If I step in, this program executes this and the program ends here. There is nothing in the call stack, right? So this is the usage of the break. Now it has just executed only one time. It has just executed only one time. But I want these instructions to be executed until one particular condition it meets. Let me copy paste the same code here. Paste it here. Note it. So this is the program with while with break, whereas this break has to be applied only for certain condition. Assume that you are driving a car. You are driving the car and your foot is in the accelerator, and your car is moving in a kind of a constant speed, or average of a 60 to 70 kilometer speed in an average in a highway. All of a sudden, if some hurdle comes, any speed breaker comes, or any object comes in front of your car, so what you must have to do? You must apply brake, right? So only during that conditions you must have to apply a brake. Let us say in my infinite loop, I am receiving an input every time. Okay, let's say I am receiving an input every time. So input keyword is to receive an input, and that input is a string. Always the input keyword will receive a string. You know that, right? So that input I wanted to be an integer, which means assume that the user is going to give some input, which is always an integer. So which means the string has string, the data which input keyword receives is the string, which you all know well aware of it. Now I'm just typecasting with int. So this is the expression to receive the input as an integer. So that received integer, the received integer from the input, which user going to give while executing, okay, is stored at received input. So this is a variable, okay, sorry. So received underscore input is the variable which I am actually going to assign it. Whatever the input what I am receiving, that is typecasted into in the sense type converted into integer, and then integer is stored into the variable called received input, right? Yes. So I am going to print the next statement is what I have received. The received input is, just typing the variable received input, so that it is going to print. Okay. But I want to apply this break for one particular condition. Apply the break means what? I want to execute this break for one particular condition. So when I need to execute this break, okay. So if you look at this, the previous program here, which is the third statement, look at line number 6. This is the third statement for the while block. So this third statement definitely get executed because there is no condition applied there. So that's the reason this third, after printing the hello, it applies the break and it comes out of while loop. Though the while loop is having a true condition here, it comes out of while loop. So program ends here by printing this statement. So as I said, we need to apply the break for one particular condition. What is that condition? So we all know that condition means if we need to use. So what is that condition? Let's say we have a condition like when the received input is equal to 100, and if the received input is equal to 100, and when the data in the received input is 100, then this statement becomes true. If this becomes true, then only it has to execute this break. So I am keeping this break inside one particular condition. So when that condition happens, break will be applied. So when break is applied, it comes out of while loop. Okay, so now let us set a breakpoint at this place. Let us set the breakpoint at this place, right? And see at the line number 1, I have set breakpoint. And now I am going to run the code. Yes. So when I run the code, it stops at line number 1 since I have applied the breakpoint here. Now I am going to debug the code line by line. So next line is while true. If it is true, the condition is true means it goes inside to while loop. So line number 4 to 8 is inside the while loop. Okay. And there are 3 instructions, line number 4, line number 5, and the line number 7. If line number 7 is true, then line number 8 will be executed. So there is a 4th instruction, only a particular condition it will execute. So let us say when I step in, welcome is printed, and the line number 4, when I step in, which means when I execute, it receives some input from the user. See here, look at here. So this is the place I have to enter the input. Let's say I'm entering an input like 20, and when 20 is received, look at the variable, the received input, and the variables block. Look at here, the right corner top. So there is a variable called the received input, which is 20, that has been created. And this 20 is stored at received input, and the next statement is it is going to execute this line number 5. So when executing this line number 5, the received input is 20, which is this guy. is printed here. Now it stops at line number 7. So here it is going to compare this integer 100 with the received input. So you all know that the received input is here 20. So 20 equal to 100 is a false condition. If false, then it will not execute this block. This is the if block. This is the if true block, where there is only one instruction, which is break, that will not be executed because this line number 7, there is a condition which is false. So if false, it won't execute. This you all know about that. Now, if I step in, it goes back to while, where there is true is there, and that true makes the program to come inside the while loop again. So it is now stopped at line number 4. When I execute the line number 4, it looks for some data. Let's say I'm going with 50. Enter. See here at the variable 50 is assigned to received input. In the memory, 50 is stored. And now if I step in, line number 5 executed, and then what it gets printed? 50 is printed. The received input is 50. Now it goes to the comparisons where the received input is 50, variable received input is 50, and here it is 100. So again false. Since it is false, break can't be applied. So it won't go inside actually because it is false. Now if I step in, again it goes into the while loop because while loop has true conditions. So it goes to while loop where it prompts for the user. It makes the user to enter an input. So now at this point of time, I wanted to enter the input. Let's say 100. Because when 100 is received, it has to stop. That is what we are going to check now. So I have entered 100 and look at the variables. 100 is assigned to received input. If I step in the line number 5, the received input is 100. And if I step in the line number 7, 7 is nothing but it compares received input and 100. So obviously received input has 100 and 100 equal to 100 is true. If true means it goes into line number 8. So it goes into line number 8. See here the call stack line number 8. Here also you can see it is line number 8. In the source file also it is line number 8. So now if I execute this break, it will come out of the while loop. Yes, it comes out of while loop because it is now at line number 10. And if I run this code, or if I step in or run this code, it will run continuously. So if I run this code, the program ends here, that gets printed here, right? So this is how you can break a loop. Okay, this is how you can break a loop. So now let me remove the breakpoint. Remove the breakpoints and removing all the breakpoints, and let me run the code again. Right. So welcome is printed. Now it is looking for an input from the user. Okay. So let's say 100. That's it. Program stopped. Okay. You can also put a kind of enter any integer value. Right. So now if I run this code, so enter any integer value, 4, -8, -10, 100, or maybe 1000, 99, -100, and 100. When 100 is entered, program here. So this is infinite looping with while, but for some conditions we have applied the break. Okay, so you can write your own condition, your own filter, your own decision to apply break. Okay, yeah. So in the next session we will see what is meant by